We've all heard the adage, you can't just be a little bit pregnant. Well, in real estate, that adage could go, you just can't be a little bit public. Recently, NAR Board of Directors passed Rule 8, also known as Clear Cooperation, almost unanimously. The rule created new standards for public and private advertising of listings. Since that happened, a lot of us have had some questions. So just what does Rule 8 say? It says that once you start publicly advertising a listing for sale, you have to, within 1 business day, submit it to the MLS. The rule takes into consideration that in today's world, the best way to show your listing to the largest and most diverse group of buyers is to have it on the MLS. And it almost doesn't make sense to publicly market your listing for sale while also trying to keep it off the MLS. Now, does Rule 8 mean that every seller who uses an NAR member brokerage must put their listing on the MLS? Well, personally, I think in almost all cases it is to the benefit to have their property on the MLS, but I'm not every seller. Obviously, a seller who does not want their property listed on the MLS doesn't have to. They can fill out an MLS exclusion and keep it off market. But now it's incumbent on all of us to know what a seller means when they say, I don't want my property listed on the MLS. What that seller is saying is, I want you to privately market my property for sale. And you have to truly privately market that property. And despite some earlier questions prior to the rule passing, and now we've gotten additional clarification from NAR, you cannot erect a yard sign and then try and tell your seller that you're privately marketing the property for sale. It wouldn't make sense to put the property on your website or your brokerage's website and then try and keep the property from being listed on other websites. You can't put a picture of the property in a magazine and circulate it around the world while keeping it off the market as well. None of that would make sense if you were truly privately marketing the property for sale. What the new NAR rule does is set up universal standards for all real estate agents to follow. Private marketing is internal marketing. You can bring that listing and its information internally within your own brokerage. Share it with other sales professionals at your brokerage. Share it with your buyers and other buyers at the brokerage. You can set up one-off private showings in coordination with your seller. That's truly off private market listings. And if you're going to do that, sure, keep the property off the MLS. But once you start erecting yard signs, once you start putting the listing out there on your own website or your brokerage's website, we need to be prepared to submit it also to the MLS. You can't just be a little bit public under this new rule. You have to be completely public. Another question I get is, well, what if I'm not ready for market? I totally intend to put the property on the MLS, just not right now. I need time to fix it up. That's absolutely fine. Our MLS and almost every MLS across the country have a coming soon feature. And in the coming months, the MLS will be clarifying and working to ensure our coming soon features and options are compliant with the new Rule 8. All of these semi-public or quasi-public practices may have in the past been considered private marketing by individual agents, but now we have national standards, so there's no more confusion. Now, if we're going to privately market under this rule, we have to truly privately market the property. And if we're going to publicly market, then we can't just be a little bit public. We've got to go all in. The property needs to be placed on the MLS and in front of the largest and most diverse group of buyers possible. It's important to note that at the end of the day, this new NAR rule ended up not being that controversial. It passed with over 90%. As we get closer to Rule 8 being implemented in our market, we will continue to keep you updated as our MLS and our associations adopt this change to some of our practices. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Real Estate Roadmap.